Thank you for staying with us on the program. We've been talking about the crisis rocking the APC, and of course, it's no longer news that former Governor Olusegun Oshoba and the incumbent Governor Senator Ibukunle Amosu are not in good terms, and the party, the leadership of the APC, have waded in the matter to reconcile both parties. Well, things are degenerated slightly as 3 senators, 6 House of Reps members, 3 House of Assembly members, and the Deputy Governor have gone the other way, leaving the APC in Ogun State. What is left now? Dr. Tunde Ikpaye, a chieftain of the APC, joins us now on the program. Tell us, what do you think is the cause of this issue between the former governor and Senator Amosu?
Well, Sheldon, thank you. Good evening, Nigerians. Let me start by maybe changing some of the words that we have used in the course of this issue. The first is that what we call a crisis or factionalization of a party presupposes that there was a whole that has now fragmented into segments. That is my understanding of factionalization. But you remember that APC was born by 3 legacy parties, and that the conflict within one of the legacy party that now became what we now describe as factionalization should not necessarily be described as factionalization of a party. Because what actually happened was that in the course of giving birth to the new executive in the party had established processes leading into the National Convention from the World Congresses. And that there are issues and conflict in the course of that until the present executive of Ogun State APC was born. That executive remained the same as they have been given birth to. And they have not divided, the party have not divided. So to not call that factionalization in my own, maybe I need to be educated. However, let me admit that there are conflicts within a family. Let me also admit that the party that I belong to before it joined one of the legacy parties that I belong to, the Action Congress of Nigeria, had internal issues, conflict, that now came, to the fore. But to describe that as 2 parties, I listened to my big brother and my very good friend, Senator Kaka, that you cannot do something on nothing. So the first question to ask is that when the World Congresses took place, and there are issues about the World Congresses, now what gave birth to the ESCO that the other side claimed they have along the line? If those that were produced during the World Congresses still remain valid, that within the party, that within the executive that is presently being led by Alhaji Adeneji in Ogun State. So where are their world ESCOs? But
remember, just before, you've actually not answered my question, but I just like to remind you that at first, there were 2 world congresses which
there were not
birth. No, we saw the Senator Kaka's group. They held their own election. We had our visuals. We followed it just a moment, and we saw another election on the side of Senator Amosu, which actually brought about another executive member. But it's as if the national leadership of the party has recognized one, and this may just be one of the reasons, isn't it?
So I think, let me tell you, some of us will put the record straight, and that does not mean we are not looking for ways to reconcile, aggrieved parties. But the first thing you saw was a state congress that had held parallel. Let anybody produce a videotape of a World Congress that they had anywhere in Ogun State.
There were parallel elections. The Congress. No. Do you agree there were parallel elections which led to 2 executive members?
So there were parallel, so-called parallel state congresses. But you cannot do something on nothing. You cannot have a state congress if you don't have the World Congress. Because the delegates for the state congress will have to be produced at the World Congress and at the local government congress. At the World Congress that we participated in, I have a videotape I can give to you where Senator Kaka participated, was accredited, had candidates, they voted, and of course, if somebody had lost and I continue some other way, That is not what we have come here to discuss. Okay, you remember that in the course of this issue, the National Executive set up an appeal panel. The appeal panel came to Ogun State to look at the stories from both sides. The appeal panel came up with a report to say that the processes of the congresses in Ogun State substantially complied with the rules set out at the national, 98% compliance. These are facts and figures.
So, but you've still not told me what is the cause of what we now see as the rancor between the former governor, Chief Oshoba.
I have told you that as an active participant, I was on the other side of the divide.
With who? Chief Oshoba?
No, with Chief Oshoba. I was a member of the State Executive Council of Alliance for Democracy. That tells you, I don't need to tell you more than that. I was the Assistant Treasurer of AD between 2000 and 2005.
Loyal to Chief Oshoba at that time.
So, however, after 2011 elections, of course, there were expectations. When you have gone to the forest, you have killed a bush mate, and it is time to share. And people have got expectations, including my own self. However, in the course of the negotiation, I expect that people must shift grants.
But the kind of grants that we are seeing now and where people are actually not happy about is the fact that they believe that Senator Ibikunle Amosun, who brought the ANPP structure, and somewhat from what we heard Senator Gbenga Kaka says that, look, they've been neglected, they've been shoved aside. The structure that was met on ground, they have not recognized it.
Let us. I don't want us to be emotional.
It's not about being emotional, it's about the facts.
No.
And let us put the facts straight.
On the table.
Senator Amosun brought the ANPP structure. Facts or...
Yeah, it's factual.
And the fact remains that were those other legacy parties met on ground, were they included in the scheme of things?
The other fact you do not know is that of the 52 executives that Chief Oshoba brought, 48 of them are now with Senator Amosun. That is another fact you have not discovered. You have not disclosed.
No, it's good that you're telling us, and that's what we want to unearth. So that if people can understand.
If Chief Oshoba brought 52 ESCO members into the legacy party, and 48, including the present chairman, the national officer, the senatorial chairman, the financial secretary, the treasurer, the public relations officer, if they came with Chief Oshoba in the legacy party that he led, including my humble self, and 48 out of 52 are now within the APC ESCO that are working with Ibikunle Amosun. Isn't that instructive?
So what could not be the cause? Why is Chief Oshoba not happy?
You see, Chief Oshoba is our leader,
but he's not happy.
You also had on a very rare occasion when he said, probably out of annoyance, that he was not even possibly ready to forgive. I think at any point in life, you are negotiating. And I still believe that it is not over.
What's this negotiation about?
The negotiation is about the political space. There's a political space in Ogun State. There is about leadership. I mean, there are people about who leads the party. Constitutionally, we know that the governor is the leader of the party. Chief Oshoba was a party leader, was a governor. We served under him, and nobody contested that space with him. So if today Chief Oshoba wants to continue to be leader, and the governor said it repeatedly, that he remains my leader, he is also our leader.
But maybe that is just by saying, not by in the real sense of it.
You know, if you know Senator Ibikunle Amosun, if you work closely with him, sometimes some of us who have worked against him, I told you, I was one of those that was not going to tolerate him for about a year or two. But if you don't build a relationship with somebody and you continue to judge based on perception, then you will just be talking emotionally. Honestly, sincerely.
A lot of Nigerians still may be in the dark as to what exactly is the problem. You're saying is the issue of the leadership. Who wants to be leader, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, has Chief Oshoba agreed that he is a leader, pro tempore, or is he a real leader? Or what exactly?
I have told you consistently, and I know that Senator Amosun means it, that Chief Oshoba is the leader of APC in Ogun State. Forget about even Ogun State. Let us assume there is a crisis with APC in Ogun State. Chief Oshoba is not a leader of APC in Ogun State, he's a leader of APC Nigeria. So reducing the conflict between Chief Oshoba. Okay, what has the governor of Lagos, Governor Osho, done to offend Chief Oshoba? Chief Oshoba was one of those that formed this party in Nigeria. So the question, and I think you need to understand this, to narrow this issue down to Ogun State is to reduce the importance of Chief Oshoba.
So can you actually, if you can tell us, figure out and tell us in simple terms, what exactly is the problem? Because if we identify what the problem is, we can be able to talk about some other issues here. There's a lot of issues on the ground.
So one thing I understand about leadership, based on my own professional experience, is that it requires a lot of emotional intelligence. It requires ability to shift your ground, even as a leader. It also allows your ability to look at your followership and appreciate what the majority of the followership.
So you think Chief Oshoba is not ready to shift grounds?
Well, I have listened to, I'm aware that the Atiku committee came to Ogun State, and of course, things were brought to the table. And to the best of my understanding and knowledge, the governor had said, Chief, if this and this and this and this are the things that you want, why not if not? And Chief Oshoba was like, no, maybe this is not enough. So, like I told you, and I keep saying, these are issues that the conversation will still be in a continuum. We have not gotten to the end of it. I believe strongly and sincerely that if Chief Oshoba should come to this political family and realizes that my former chairman is with Amosu, my vice chairman is with Amosu, my former senatorial chairman is with Amosu, my days is with Amosu, 48 of the people that have bought it, the ESCO down the line up to the local government are with Amosu, even with the senators and some of the House of Rep members, and let me correct one, when you showed 6 House of Rep members, and then Kennedy has come back to the governor.
Oh, he changed his mind.
Yeah, he changed his mind. So that is to tell you that there's progress being made. They said, look, the House of Rep member representing Honorable Williams is with the governor.
All right. If you heard what Honorable Allen said, that Senator Amosun does not listen to them.
I beg to disagree with that. I mean, let me give you an instance here. I went to Governor Amosun November 2013 to say, you are rebuilding everywhere in Ogun State. My local government has not been rebuilt. Ijebu not local government. What is the problem? So well, resources are not always there. They are not usually, enough. But we need to do this thing. I said, Senator Amosun, you also need to come, and after some months of negotiation and agreement, shifting of ground, he's come to Ijebu to start rebuilding my town. What I really mean is that you need to understand that resources are usually not unlimited. So
this issue may not be unconnected with distribution of resources.
It is not impossible. But what I'm saying is that when there are contests of ideas, or there are contests for recognition, or contests for resources, or contests, people are bound to be aggrieved.
All right, let's take a look at some of the implications for your party now. We're just about 3 months away from the elections. And if we look at it, some of the key members, elective members of your party have left. Isn't that dangerous for your party?
Let me tell you my personal observation. My personal observation is that if you have gotten to an elective position by anointment, and you have spent 4 years serving the populace and the party, you must be willing to subject yourself to the democratic process of primaries within the party. If people are not prepared to face the members of the party that they have represented, or the people they have represented, there could be a possibility of not wanting to have a competitive or a contest within the party. For me, this is my personal opinion, and this is not the opinion of the government or the governor. But even at that, what is expected is that even if people who have represented the party had issues with the governor, I'm sure they do not have issues with every other member of the party. And it is for them to come back to say, maybe the governor has not done too well to us, but you are our people. I want to represent you on the platform of the party again. And the membership says, yes, it is yes.
So it's majorly, it's a leadership style of Senator Amosun that these people are not happy about.
Well, I do not know what they're not appearing, but if you talk about majority, I mean, having their way in the political system, I'll give you an instance. If you want me to continue to give you instances, I'll continue. Let me give you another instance. If you look at the appointment in Ogun State as you speak, initially the complaint was that Senator Amos was favoring the MPP. But we have done an analysis of those that have been appointed in the last 3.5 years. About 70% of them are members of ODCN.
So, I mean, take for example, the deputy governor, you heard what he said. You're privy to the kind of the letter, the content of the letter he wrote to the governor about how his office has been handled and how he has been treated.
Deputy governor, my brother, Shegun, you know, we're from the same local government. It's unfortunate that he had to make what to make public. But I'm sure you have read what Tunde Fagbinle wrote against what.
Of course, I have.
And
are you saying that there's no iota of truth in what Mr. Shegun?
I have not come to this studio to contest.
I'm just saying that is there any form of truth in what he said?
If you read what Tunde Fagbinle wrote.
No, I'm talking about what the deputy governor wrote.
No. You know, because on the other side of the story, you cannot establish the truth if you don't compare with the standard. I mean, truth doesn't come by saying. You need to establish it, isn't it? No. Tunde Fagbinle said he had gone to do verification of what was written, and that what he saw is different from what was written. So what is the truth?
So you don't believe that what Mr. Adeshegun wrote was...
It cannot longer be described as the truth, but because something has contradicted it.
All right. Let's look at the fact that the reconciliation process has started. But how far can it go? One of the elders of the party, and of course the presidential aspirant of the APC, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, was in Abeokuta. He has a dual mission there. He met with former President Olusegun Obasanjo, and of course he met with Senator Bukunle Amosu, and this is what he said about the reconciliation between Senator Amosu and former Governor of Ogun State, Chief Oshoba.